Hello again and welcome back to the Vinyl Brotherhood, where we like to kick back, take it easy, and just chat about music, whether it be the latest and greatest new releases or old favorites from years gone by. It's that time again, and apparently there is a new highly anticipated album by Angel Olsen out that we need to review. So go ahead and get comfortable and we'll start here momentarily. It's good to be back with you all today, and not a moment too soon because we've got some new music to catch up on. This here is the latest album by singer-songwriter Angel Olsen, which she has titled Big Time. I've been following this immensely talented individual for a few years now, and to say her output has been solid would be an understatement. These days, it appears like everything she touches turns to gold. My Woman was a pretty big deal in 2016, and 2019's All Mirrors was actually my favorite record of that year, and it blows my mind that it's already been over a couple of years since that release, as I don't feel like I'm quite over that album yet. Believe it or not, Angel Olsen was the last live act that I'd attended before the COVID lockdowns took place. It was really something to witness that beautiful singing voice in person, and her band was fantastic. They put on a great show. So if you know anything about her work, then by now you've picked up on the way she's constantly shifting and expanding on her sound, originally rooted in folk music. Angel's not one to make the same album twice, and Big Time represents yet another dramatic pivot in her journey. Now, far be it for me to spoil the surprise, so let's take this record over to the turntable, and from there, we'll dive into this album a bit. Here's the artwork. Seems like she's just standing out in nature. Picture of her hand in the back, on the back, excuse me. Written by Angel Olsen, produced by Jonathan Wilson, plays a lot of instruments on this record, and Angel Olsen. Recorded at 5 Star Studio LA, Jagjaguwar Records. I love their logo. I don't love how hard it is to claim digital copies with them. I'm still trying to get a hold of some digital copies from a couple of years ago. Very nice. And all of her vinyl releases are very high quality. We have 10 tracks on 2 LPs. They got these nice labels. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but I dig it. So, are you guys ready to talk about Big Time? Well, Big Time is the 5th album by Angel Olsen, 6 if you count Whole New Mess, the scaled back companion record to All Mirrors. We find her returning to a folksier sound, but not exactly back to her roots per se. There's a much more country influence this time around, in place of the 80s synth sounds and the indie pop aesthetic that she's dabbled with in prior years. And since we're living in post My Woman days, this is obviously a grand, top-notch production. I'm really digging the warm studio sound on the opening couple of tracks, and I think it melds really well with the organic, earthy tones and the cinematic soundscapes that she worked in on her previous record, All Mirrors. As per usual, her stellar songwriting is supported by a solid band, bringing along every instrument under the sun, and all very tastefully incorporated. All the Good Times and Big Time, tracks 1 and 2 respectively, go full-on classic country. The organs are there, the slides are there, the 60s/70s inspired melodies are all there. Angel's voice is used to great effect here, and one of her strengths has always been the versatility of her voice. I swear there are at least 3 different Angel Olsens taking turns on every release, and personally, I'm really enjoying country twang Angel. These 2 tracks aren't even up there for me as far as immediate favorites go, but Angel sounds really at home here, and I'm more than ready to declare this dive into country a success. No gimmicks to it, no awkwardness. With the exception of This Is How It Works on the second half, the country sound is incorporated a lot more subtly on the rest of this project, and sometimes not at all. Ghost On, track 3, is an early highlight for me. I love me some chamber pianos, and this sad slow jam has an abundance of the classic pop vibes we love so much. The swirling organs and vibrato guitar leads are as welcome here as they were on My Woman back in 2016. And it's nice to hear the bass guitar in action, which strangely I noticed plays a much smaller role on Big Time. On All the Flowers, or the track is called All the Flowers, we get some classic Angel in folk mode, like something off of Halfway Home, only now in glorious 4K high definition, complete with the faux Roy Orbison vocal. I'm telling you, she's a vocal chameleon. It's a beautiful love song that occupies a nice place on the album right before the rock and roll outlier Right Now. This song has a huge guitar-driven chorus that interrupts the generally mellow and serene atmosphere of the record. Now, the trick isn't quite as impactful the next time around on the second chorus, but the song reaches new heights and has a very satisfying resolution. It's something of a standout track on Big Time as well. This Is How It Works is kind of her version of Knocking on Heaven's Door. Every other artist has their take on this exact kind of song, and some are better than others. This one's particularly good, despite me not being able to unhear the similarities. And do my ears deceive me, or do I hear a clavichord in there? I just love that. There are no missed opportunities on these songs. There's so many nice little details that really elevate these compositions. Angel's desire to understand and be understood in this confusing world is so well expressed on this song and others. The longing is palpable, and her voice just conveys these feelings incredibly well. And there's much more where that came from. Through the Fire is a tender and bittersweet piano ballad that expertly utilizes a gentle yet uneasy string section. Songs such as Through the Fire have become something of a box to check on an Angel Olsen record. And I know box to check sounds like a crude way of putting it, but I actually really look forward to the softer, more intimate songs from her. Chasing the Sun is another song that falls into this category, and only time will tell if it dethrones Chance from All Mirrors as a favorite Angel Olsen closing track. But it features all of my favorite Olsenisms, such as the nostalgic black and white movie feel supported by the appropriately cinematic orchestra, as well as an incredible vocal performance that could bring a tear to your eyes. Busy Doing Nothing, Chasing the Sun, Spending the Day, Driving Away the Blues are the lyrics that close out the record for us. She definitely sells a sentiment, something she's quite an expert at. You may have noticed that I've made a couple of comparisons to Olsen's past work, particularly 2019's All Mirrors. It must be a pretty tough album to follow up. By comparison, Big Time certainly feels more conventional for the most part, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that on a good portion of this project, she's really leaning into the country sound. For better or for worse, she's made to adhere to traditional motifs of the country and folk world. But twang or no, Big Time often shines when it's subverting our expectations, like how I described on the song Right Now, or even on Go Home with its epic final chorus loaded with tension. And it's moments like these that represent the album at its best. At times, many of these songs give off a very transcendent quality, and it's nice to have that feeling on first listen, knowing in real time that what you're listening to at that moment is going to be a small part of your life story. So yes, you could say I'm loving this album big time, and I'll have to give it a big ol' thumbs up. No surprise there, obviously. Time will tell what role it plays in the greater Angel Olsen story, but for now, I can say that it's a worthy addition and a worthwhile listen. I guess we can head back and wrap things up for today. I've got just a couple of more thoughts that I'd like to share. I haven't had a whole ton of time with this new Angel Olsen album, but if I were to give a knee-jerk reaction, I'd say that we could very well have another classic on our hands. She feels very comfortable and at home in this new musical territory, and her musings on life and relationships feel as raw and uncompromised as ever. Yes, there are a few musical concepts on this record that are dangerously close to retread territory, and I worry that I'm getting too familiar with the Angel Olsen bag of tricks. As a standalone work, Big Time is truly excellent, but in the greater context of her catalog, I didn't necessarily feel that it broke the new ground that All Mirrors did. But I don't want to downplay that at the end of the day, the musical craftsmanship and production is simply stellar. And regardless of my reservations, Angel has proven herself to be an endlessly captivating songwriter and performer, and perhaps deserving of a little more recognition. For now, I think I'm going to give Big Time an 8 out of 10 on the Vinyl Brotherhood scale. It could always change at some point down the line, you never know, but this feels correct to me right now. So if you will, please say hello in the comments. I'd love to hear what you all thought of Big Time. It's definitely worthy of a few weeks in the rotation. I guess that's about all I've got for today. So thank you for tuning in. Feel free to do all of the obligatory YouTube stuff, and FYI, we've actually got a companion Instagram where you can keep up with us on the daily, see what we're listening to, get updates, etc., etc. God bless, folks. Have a good one, and we'll see you again very soon here at the Vinyl Brotherhood.